Expert insight on the largest global drop in childhood vaccinations in 30 years. This is something we've reported from the World Health Organization this month as kids go back to school. And this morning, Dr. Avery August is dialed in to Daybreak from the American Association of Immunologists. Thank you for giving your time.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
We're talking 25 million children around the world who did not receive basic protection from potentially deadly illnesses. The WHO says the COVID-19 pandemic has been a driver of this decline. Why is it partially to blame?
So what we think is happening, what we've seen happen, is actually the stress of the pandemic on the healthcare system has deferred a number of routine healthcare things that we've been doing, including immunizations. So because we've had to spend a lot of time taking care of individuals who have symptoms or are sick from COVID-19, we haven't been able to do those routine things like immunizations. So what we're hoping to be able to get back to that as children head back to school this fall.
So there are physical barriers to overcome, also some mental, emotional ones as well. You say you can debunk some common myths about vaccines. What is your message to people who question their safety or think that the concept of herd immunity is enough?
So two things. On the issue of safety, we know that vaccines are safe. The myth that has been around has been debunked many times by many rigorous studies. Vaccines are safe. We know that by the time vaccines get to be used in the public, they've undergone many, many years of clinical study, including fundamental studies in immunology, in vaccinology, and in safety. And specifically for particular vaccines, we test them very rigorously for safety first, efficacy, and for when we actually will deliver them. So by the time they get out to the clinic, they've been tested in many, many different individuals, and they're very safe for use and protect against illness, particularly in infections.
Why is staying on track with shots so important, especially for children?
This is so important. What we know is that as vaccination rates go down, we see the emergence of infections that would normally have been kept at bay. And that's because the immunizations actually protect us when we're immunized. They protect us from the debilitating effects in some cases of the infection, and they protect symptoms of those infections. And so as those rates go down, we see that those infections start to come back up, and then we start to see them showing up in children particularly, but also in adults.
So which vaccines do you most want parents to make sure are on their child's list?
So there are a number of vaccines that are recommended for children. From birth to 6 years old, children would normally be getting hepatitis A and B vaccines, mumps, rubella, chicken pox. And of course, children who are between 7 and 18 years old, we would recommend that they get the HPV vaccine, which protects against certain cancers. There's actually a fuller list at the American Association of Immunologists website, which is at aai.org/NIAM. And that provides a larger list that includes both the schedule for children, when they should be given, and the various vaccines that are available.
That sounds like a great resource, so we'll make sure to get a link to that included in our story here on wishtv.com. Dr. August, thank you again for your time.
Thank you for having me.